Hello everyone, welcome to English Shorthand classes. Exercise 20. Get ready for the dictation. Start. Sir, now the question arises and the amendment which Honourable Member has brought forward also raise the question, namely, to what extent the supremacy of Parliament has to be accepted. Sir, at one stage, when the Supreme Court had struck down the Bank Nationalisation Act and the Privy Purse abolition measure, there was a dominant body of thinking in the country that Parliament should be supreme. People then said, as eminent justice had said, that the constitution of a country should not be what the judges say, but what the people say. The feeling was like what President Roosevelt had said, namely that the courts should not be a third house, a third chamber, a super legislature, a super parliament. On policy question, Parliament is supreme. Sir, then there has been further thinking on this question, and this Constitution Amendment Bill also raises this question. So far as Parliament's power to amend the Constitution is concerned, particularly where individual rights are concerned, where property rights are concerned, and where Parliament is passing legislations for the Harijans, for the backward classes, for the scheduled castes, for the small and marginal farmers, for minorities, and so on, that power should be supreme, unchallengeable, and immutable. This should be beyond the reach of judicial review. But there is another question. The question that has now arisen is this. Among individual rights, there are some rights, that is, the property right, which is a subsidiary right and which has to be curbed in social interest. But among individual rights, there are some basic rights like the right of free speech, right to form associations, certain cultural rights, rights of the minorities, and so on. The question therefore arises that when we say Parliament is supreme and Parliament's legislations should not be checked or should not be judicially reviewed or should not be set aside or should not be declared ultra vires the constitution by the courts, then we say that so far as Parliament's socio-economic legislations are concerned, like abolishing landlordism, curbing monopolies, curbing restrictive practices, curbing discriminatory practice, curbing exploitation of the weaker and backward section, and so on, the courts should not come into the picture and they should not be able to interfere. But, sir, so far as the personal rights of the citizen are concerned, that is to say, right of not being detained, etc., require a fundamental thinking in the light of the experience. The latest Constitution Amendment Bill, which has been passed, bases itself on the assumption that there is a basic structure of the Constitution which cannot be touched, the basic structure which enshrines the faith of a secular state, a republican state, a democratic state, a state committed to social change and advancement, towards social objectives and social goals. Therefore, this basic structure is there. Then the question arises that though Parliament is supreme, yet so far as this basic structure is concerned, whether judicial review is permissible on this question. If Parliament by a majority vote change this basic structure, whether the courts can look into this question. Sir, this is one of the major questions that arise here. This arose when the last Constitution Amendment Bill was passed, and this also arises now in this bill of my friend. The question is, can the courts look into this question? So far, the government have proceeded on the assumption that there is a certain basic structure like the concept of republicanism, concept of secularism, concept of democracy, and so on, which should be immutable. Sir, so far as these things are concerned, I think it is an accepted position. Everybody accepts these are immutable. The question arises, what are the modalities by which we ensure that these are immutable, that democracy is immutable? How do we ensure that those are immutable, that secularism is immutable, that democracy is immutable? How do we ensure that these are immutable without defining what secularism is, what democracy is? Then you will be giving a very wide, ultra-mailed, unguided and unchartered power to the court to define these things and then say that according to the definition of these various concepts, which are fundamental concepts and which are part of the basic structure, this particular law is invalid. Therefore, Parliament must be very clear and careful in its mind, that is, if Parliament wants to give power to the courts, then the courts will review all laws in the light of the basic structure. Parliament cannot then pass a law in negation to this basic structure. Then these concepts relating to the basic structure must be defined, and it has to be ascertained how far the courts can go into them. This is one aspect. The other aspect that arises is this: Honorable Member has suggested a parliamentary committee to go into the constitutionality of the statutes the Parliament passes. This is a very controversial provision for this reason that we have got a quasi-federal structure. We have got the Council of States. We represent the states. The states have certain rights which are under the law stop.